Hi guys, it's me Jess. Please forgive the low quality nature of this video. I didn't really have time to make a proper video for you guys earlier today, and I just wanted to get this information out because I know a lot of you guys are confused about the October monthly reads that I did based on the nakshatra and planetary dominance system rather than the Vedic, the sign system that you guys are used to. So I want to say I'm sorry for that. I know that I just sprung that on you and I didn't prepare you at all, and I was like, welcome to October, like nothing is the same. So I am sorry, but allow me to make things a little bit more clear for you now. And in making this video, I really have 4 objectives. And the first one, and the most important one, because I know not everybody cares enough to watch this full video, the first and most important thing for you to understand is that you do not need to know anything about Vedic astrology in order to use this system. All you're doing is grabbing your placements. That's literally it. And it's my hope that this is something that's exciting for you, just the same way that finding your Vedic or your Western placements for the first time was exciting. You know, when you went to astro.com or astrocafe.com and you entered your information in the chart and you hit get my chart for the first time, and it took you to that web page where you saw your birth chart for the first time and it looked crazy and like this knotted mystery that probably called to you in some way, but you didn't look there first. You looked at the table where it told you what your sun, moon, rising sign was because you knew that those were the placements that you needed. And literally to a T, that is the process that I'm trying to explain to you now for Vedic. It's just instead of going to astro.com and instead of going to astrocafe.com, you're going to go to astrosage.com and it's going to look almost the exact same, like literally almost the exact same. Please don't just go to AstroSage though. Click the link that I've included in the description box below, and it's also in the description box of every single planetary dominance video. It's on my community board, it's everywhere. But click that link because it will take you just directly to the page where you're entering your information into the chart. And literally all you do is you're just going to enter that information in, you're going to click get chart. Don't look at the actual chart that's there. There's a table below and it's going to say Ascendant, and it's going to say sun, and it's going to say moon, okay? And I picked this website because Claire Nocte uses it, but also because it uses the English names wherever it can, really. It's going to say ascendant, it's going to say sun, it's going to say moon. It's not going to say Chandra or Rashi, you know, which a lot of you guys have said that you are intimidated by. Now, the nakshatras have Vedic Indian names, okay? Sanskrit, whatever. They do. But it's just like learning a new English word for the first time. You know what I mean? It's all you need to know is your 3 placements, okay? So I'm going to leave that there for a second. Now, the second thing that I want to make address in this video is the difference between Vedic and Western astrology and how that might show up in your chart. Now, just know that this is a subject you could go on in depth, but the purpose of me making this video is to make the monthly reads more accessible and to make it simpler in your mind. So I'm not trying to confuse you, and perhaps if you get easily confused, you might want to skip this part. Like if you find all of this to be very confusing. I didn't mean to say like if you're getting like confused, Jessica. Ugh. But okay, so first of all, one thing that I want you to note is that your sign, like your sun sign, just because you're an Aries in Western does not mean that you're going to be an Aries in Vedic, okay? And it's because of the way that your chart is calculated. It's calculated entirely differently in both of those systems, which means that they're, nope. I'm trying not to confuse you. So in Western astrology, the way that your chart is calculated is the Earth's like where the Earth is to the sun, like it's all kind of connected to the sun. In Vedic, in sidereal astrology, and sidereal literally means stars, it is the Earth's placement to the stars around it, the necklace of signs around it, okay? And it's the signs and the zodiac that pins it in place. The reason for this difference is because of a little thing called the procession of the equinoxes. Now, this again is a very interesting topic. You can really run wild, and it's going to lead you down to a rabbit hole where you're going to be learning about the Mayan calendar, because the ancients were fascinated in charting the procession of the equinoxes. And what this means is that when the Earth makes its yearly go around the sun, when it goes back to the place where it started from, right? It's never exactly in the place that it started, okay? Now, this at the spring equinox, right? Let's say, because, and so these systems deal with that differently. Western astrology, Aries, the beginning of Aries always starts at the spring equinox. Always, always, always. But it doesn't factor in itself that hair's breadth of a difference. It's like 52nd degree difference, okay? Now, Vedic, sidereal astrology adjusts itself every year to accommodate that hair's breadth of a change so that it's always kind of like right on point. So as the years go on, you're going to get these systems have gotten further and further away from each other, okay? Now, in the year 285 AD, your chart would have looked the exact same in Western and the exact same in Vedic, right? So as this procession goes on, these 50 little hair's breadths, these little 50-second differences, they add up, right? And so now, from 285 AD to our current time, we're at about 26, 27 degree difference between the two, meaning that your chart in Western astrology, your sun placement, your moon placement, all of your placements there, they're going to be about 26 degrees, about a full zodiac sign off from your Vedic ones, which is why in Western astrology I'm a Gemini, but in Vedic astrology I'm a Taurus. And that's going to seem a little bit jarring to get used to these new sign placements. But what I have found in studying both of these placements is that the energies are essentially the same. They're describing you in a very similar way. It's just the way that they go about it is different. It's just different. It is what it is, okay? So that is the basic difference between Western and Vedic astrology. Now, another difference is that Western astrology tends to put a primary emphasis on the sun sign, right? What's your sun sign? What's your sun sign? Actually, when you go to your monthly reads, you probably go to your sun sign. Now you have 3 dominant placements, though, in Western astrology, don't you? So, yes, this is one of the most commonly asked questions. Can I be dominant in more than one planet? Yeah, you're dominant in more than one sign in Western as well, right? And they combine in an interesting way in order to make you. And it gets even more complicated in Western, actually, because, you might have Saturn conjunct your sun, and your sun's in Aries. Well, that Saturn is going to throw off the energy of your sun. You're not going to be a pure Aries with a Saturn sitting there. You're just not. Now, doing it the way that I want to do it over here with the planetary dominance, you can, if you have a planet like Saturn conjunct your luminaries, the sun or the moon, or your ascendant, that makes you dominant in that planet too. And you can check out the Saturn video. So it allows you to pull in these more energies. You see? Okay. Now, another common question that I've been getting is, well, where's Aries? Okay, so it doesn't work like that. Aries in Western and Vedic, now Western astrologers don't talk about this as much, but it's broken down into more planetary energies, okay? And that's confusing because we know Aries has a planetary ruler, right? It's Mars, but that doesn't make you Mars dominant, okay? Because we're using the nakshatras. So Aries, every single zodiac sign has 3 nakshatras in it, okay? So you can be an Aries. Think about it like city and state, okay? Now, if you're in Missouri, okay, I'm from Kansas City, Missouri. So, like, if you're in Missouri, are you in Kansas City? Or are you in St. Louis? Are you in Springfield? Where are you in Missouri? Missouri is a pretty big place. Aries is a pretty big place, okay? Taurus is a pretty big place. Cancer is a pretty big place. Where are you? Where are you there? Similar to this, Kansas City is a great example. Are you in Kansas City, Kansas? Or are you in Kansas City, Missouri? Because that city straddles the state line. Some nakshatras straddle zodiac lines, okay? Now remember, I told you there's no lines in the sky when you look up there that says now entering Taurus. These are all overlays, okay? And I will include that on my community board if you guys want to see these things as well, just to help if you're a more visual person, okay? So we're just getting more specific in that. And in so doing, it allows us to get pure energies. There might be times when an Aries reading doesn't resonate with you because maybe Aries has Ashwini, Bharani, and Kritika nakshatras in it. And I'm about to rattle things off. You don't need to know these things, okay? I'm walking you through a process where you just need to know your own placements, okay? But within Aries, like I said, there's 3 different nakshatras, and they're Ketu dominant, Venus dominant, Sun dominant, okay? So looking at it from the planetary side of it and your planetary dominance, why use that? Because Venus, okay, Ashwini rules, or Ketu rules Ashwini. Ketu is the south node, okay? No. Let's not use the south node because it's a shadow planet. I don't want to confuse you. The sun rules Kritika, and Kritika is one of the nakshatras in Aries, okay? The sun rules 2 other nakshatras, but they're in the same place relative to the fire signs, okay? So if you study Vedic astrology, you know the planets go in an order, right? Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer. But that pattern of fire, earth, air, water repeats again, doesn't it? It always goes. Then after Cancer, you have what? Leo, fire, Libra, air, right? This pattern continues. So when you're looking at, so instead of looking at Aries that has 3 different planets in it, and maybe it picks up on yours and maybe it doesn't, you're looking at planetary dominance. Kritika is always going to rule, it's always going to be sun dominant, so you're pulling in that energy, but it's always going to be in a fire sign moving into an earth sign. Always. So it's a very cohesive energy there. Okay? And I feel like I confused you, but it really is it's hard to explain it, but it is a very simple concept, okay? Let's use Venus, because Venus rules the nakshatra in the middle of Aries. Venus is always going to rule the nakshatra in the middle of the fire signs, making it a very cohesive energy. So unlike Aries, that has a little bit of Venus in it, a little bit of the sun in it, and a little bit of the south node in it, we're just going to look at Venus, because Venus is always going to be in a fire sign. You're always pulling on fire sign energy, and you're always pulling on Venus energy. Again, making that a very cohesive energy. You can do the same thing with the moon. The moon is always in the middle of the earth signs. So you're always pulling on the moon energy, and then you're always pulling on earth energy, making it a more cohesive energy than just looking at, say, Taurus, that's going to have sun ruling Kritika, it's going to have the moon ruling Rohini, and then it's going to have Mars ruling Mrgashira. So I could look at Taurus, and I could pull on the energy of the sun, moon, and the Mars. Maybe that'll resonate with you, maybe it doesn't. Or we can just look at the moon and know that we're dealing with earth sign and moon energy, okay? So I feel like that was as much as I can really say about that without trying to confuse you too much. Now, the last thing that I really want to talk about is just, I feel like I already harped on it a little bit, was the website. But like I said, I already kind of walked you through that before, and I'll just attach the picture where I crossed out what not to look at. Like, honestly, you just kind of need like the horse blinders on, to where you're just going in there to get exactly what you need. And you're going to find your nakshatra, and you're not going to know what planet is dominant in it, which is why I created the chart. So that way you can just find your nakshatra and know what planet is dominant. So again, I hope this is something that's actually fun and another step along your astrological journey. I do feel like there's a lot of really good tarot readers that are reading for the signs, but I just thought this was something interesting that we could do on this channel, where it's just, again, it like, I hope it enriches your life, and it enriches your tarot, astrology, occult experience, and it allows you something to kind of compare and contrast to other readings that you're getting, and just in order to make things, clearer for you there. So I feel like I'm rambling at this point, but thank you guys for your support. Again, I hope this is fun. Ask us questions in the comments, because there's a lot of people on this channel are actually proficient in Vedic astrology, and they have been answering a lot of questions. So if you're like, hey, I'm in this nakshatra, what dominance is it? And you're confused by the chart, just ask it, because somebody's going to answer you. So anyways, happy learning about yourself. I hope that is all wonderful in your journey. Bye, guys.